It doesn't concern us. We shouldn't get involved. That's the attitude of many frum Jews vis-a-vis cultural and political debates. But, as Pericles said 2,500 years ago, just because you do not take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you. Right now, parents of 8-year-old boys in Givat Shmuel are fighting Israel's Ministry of Education after discovering that a girl, imagining herself to be a boy, was studying together with their sons for the last 3 years without their knowledge. This in a religious school. The administrators of the school sanctioned the girl's presence in the boys' classroom and hid the girl's identity from the parents of the other students. The parents have now opened a breakaway class, and Rabbi Shmuel Eliyahu, the chief rabbi of Tzfas, just taught this class as a sign of public support. But how dare the administrators of this so-called religious school make this concession to the sexually perverse transgender movement? And how dare the education ministry in the Jewish state endorse this sexual charade and actively fight parents who thought they were sending their sons to an all-boys school? In all likelihood, none of the criminals in this case, not the parents of the girl, not the so-called religious administrators, not the state officials involved, ever devoted a moment of independent reflection to the benefits and ills of the transgender movement. Every one of their ideas and arguments stems directly from transgender propaganda as parroted by so-called intellectuals and the media class. It's all Narishkeiten. We don't need to get involved. It doesn't affect us. Oh, but it does. It starts in the halls of academia, filters down to the media, is adopted out of fear by the politicians, and before you know it, your son is sitting with a girl in an Orthodox all-boys school. It does affect us. This issue and so many others. A Russian Jew in the 1890s could have said, "What does it matter to me whether the government is run by monarchists, communists, or classical liberals? It's none of my business and won't affect me." And for 30 years, he would have been right. It wouldn't have really affected him. And then one day, the Bolshevik Revolution arrived and completely eviscerated Judaism in Russia for 70 years. I believe God wants us, his Mamlechas Kohanim, to spread Torah values in the world and wage battle against activists trying to undercut them. But even if you disagree and think we have no such obligation, you still need to fight. For what happens in non-Jewish society will ultimately seep into Jewish society, both here and, sadly, in Israel.